Now that I tapped the wrong spot on my phone and deleted 64 videos and have all the space. So I was just watching the Str8 Jacket video and I can see how much I was rushing, not being able to see through the YouTube app, which is the only way I was able to trick my phone into making recordings, how much space I had left. So what I was trying to say is that if a stigmatizing term is directed at you often enough, like it could be selfish or neurotic. In this case, it was a very loosely applied psychiatric term by somebody who doesn't really know anything about psychiatry. We had a fight last night, and just because dinner was an hour late. Anyway, don't sweat the small stuff, my dude. So escalate, escalate, escalate. There's a great book, Stop the Fight. Yellow cover, cartoons illustrate. The lady who wrote it, Michelle Brody, is a PhD and a clinical psychologist, but it's very down to earth, very easy to read. There are cartoons. Anyway, so we're having this fight, and this term that's really supposed to be a very special psychiatric label that only psychiatrists know how to apply, but ordinary folks throw at each other sometimes, came out, and it wasn't just that label. It was like, and everybody knows it, kind of, or at least that's what I heard. And I know what my DSM diagnosis is, and it's something much more mild and benign than what was being thrown at me. And it just was, had a huge impact. And he said, if you just repeat the same word over and over again often enough, in other words, in enough different fights, you call somebody a certain nasty word or label, he said it can become very triggering. And I would add, yes, if in a combative context you keep labeling, you keep throwing the same word at someone, that's right, that could become very triggering. And I said, well, that makes sense, because if you remember, I kept saying, to explain the power plays I engaged in later, one of which will have long-term consequences. Two of which, because it turns out I threatened to hit him with a big lamp or something, and that's a little bit of a gray out, or a deep gray, because I remember picking up the lamp and it was like a big floor lamp, but I don't remember why or what I was threatening to do. Was I threatening to make noise, threatening to break it? If I was threatening to hit him, that's really sick. When I have this huge pain, then instead of just drinking a little and feeling better and resuming my projects and then drinking a little more, which has been my kind of drinking pattern since I've been drinking more than I normally would, which would just be 3 or 4 times a year. Usually it's like intermittent, but lately it's been intensive for the pain, and that means that opens the door to binge drinking, which is where you can get into things like what I would call like a gray out, where you sort of remember, but not entirely, or you're like, oh, I thought this happened first, and I thought I only said that and thought this, but I actually said that and said that too, and oh, that's bad. That's super indiscreet, or that's really mean. Or you mean I threatened to hit you with the lamp, not just break it? That's a gray out. That's a gray out with some dark gray in there, meaning virtually. I guess sometime like a year and a half ago, I actually was like blacked out. Like I did things I didn't know I was doing for like an hour. That's disturbing. Anyway, so for me, the idea was that because this label was coming at me, it was super triggering. It's because it's happened before, and again, it's totally invalid. But, so it was super triggering, and my feeling was like of being in a straitjacket. Now, I mistakenly thought that when you're in a straitjacket, your hands are behind your back, more like handcuffs. And my sweetie says that's not true. He's mysteriously knowledgeable about everything, except when he's not. And he's like, why are you asking me? And I'm like, because you know everything. My late husband was like that too. Anyway, but so that's my mental image, that I'm wrapped up in a straitjacket with my hands tied behind my back. Is it any wonder that I would half consciously go, yeah, I'm going to overpower you because you're overpowering me, and it's my turn to have some power. And maybe I would use it better, so just sit down. But it turns out I didn't use it better. I was indiscreet in a way that's kind of a betrayal. And I threatened to hit somebody I adore and love beyond everything with a goddamn floor lamp. If this doesn't get recorded, I will fucking kill myself. Just kidding. I'm not the killing myself type. Not really. But I am the I should drink fucking less